I didn't have much experience when I started. Along the way, I gained a lot of experience. Miss Clarice honed me to what I
I've
am
always
right
been a
now.
nerd.
I've
We would
learned a
like
lot
you
of stuff.
to tell us who you are and what inspired you to start the Global Remote Workers
To
or the
implement.
staffing
And
agency.
actually, what we've been doing the past 4 years is to really make our VAs also proactive, not scared to think on their own.
Welcome back to another episode of Global Remote Workers. I'm your host, Clay, and today we're pulling back the curtain on something insurance agency owners ask us all the time. What exactly does your virtual assistant do? What are they trained? What happens after I hire one? So today we're taking you behind the scenes so you can see everything that goes into building a successful client VA partnership. So first, our CEO and founder, Clarice Dallo. So welcome. And joining us is our business development manager, Rita May. Welcome.
Hi, Clay.
What does your BAs actually do? So, Madam Clarice, let's start with the question we hear the most. So, when someone hires a VA from Global Remote Workers, what kind of tasks can they actually expect that VA to handle or like the virtual assistant to handle?
Being a licensed producer myself, a lot of the times my time is eaten up when I have to send evidence of insurance, certificates of insurance, claims follow up, mortgagee clause follow up, or sending the deck pages to mortgagee companies, DMV verification. So those tasks, you don't need licenses to do that. And a lot of the agencies have adapted that business model wherein, of course, me as a sales producer, I want to focus on the tasks that would earn me commissions, right? I want to focus on sales. I want to focus on nurturing client relationships. Global remote workers, of course, being led by me. I was originally a VA from the Philippines. So I kind of know the training gaps, how to approach, what context to give our VAs, somebody who is, on the other side of the world, who probably doesn't have a clue about how the US insurance industry works and how an agency works. So when you hire VAs from our company, of course, being led by my amazing leadership team, you can expect that the training gaps that are usually not addressed by other staffing agencies will be addressed here simply because I see it from the point of view of a VA and also from the point of view of somebody who works in an insurance agency. And I can actually step in and explain, hey, this is what your licensed producer means, or hey, this is what you need to do for your licensed producer. So, obviously there's a lot of staffing agencies like us who provide virtual assistants from Philippines, but we try to address the training gaps, how to approach the training so your VAs actually understand what they're doing and not just following a script. So you don't always have to give instructions because they understand why they have to do it. So that's what you can expect from me and you guys, my leadership team, when you get away from us.
Miss Clarice, you're not only a licensed insurance agent, but before becoming the CEO or like the founder of the Global Remote Workers, you also work as a virtual assistant yourself. So you can see or you have all the point of view or like the POV of those role as a like a CEO, licensed insurance agent, and also like a VA. So the follow up question with that, how has that shaped the way you train your VAs?
Well, obviously, you guys, I give you guys US training on how to market to insurance agency owners. Rita here, her name is on the US business papers, like certificates here in the US. So obviously, this is my first time working in a staffing company. The main problem that I saw with, our competitors or other staffing agencies, the CEO would be, obviously they would have their marketing and they have their whole side of, the circles. A lot of the times there's uh, things that are lost in translation simply because we might all be speaking English, but not really. And what I noticed is that when you are talking to somebody, who has never been in the US, who has no idea how the US insurance industry works, you need to give a lot more context. And before you can even begin training, you need to meet them. You need assess their level of knowledge first. Then you meet them there. Then you give them, more information and then more instructions. We have a very robust training, I would say. We spend a lot of money in training you guys, and in return, you guys would pass on that knowledge to our VAs. And of course, if needed, then I would, and then I talk to the VAs myself. One of the things that really struck with me was one of my mentors. Well, I see him as a mentor, Nick Saka, who is very successful agency owner here in Nevada, whole of Nevada. He said, of course, some agency owners or some business owners actually say, why would you spend so much on training your people? They'll just leave you. Use that knowledge, take that knowledge, and leave you for the competitor. And he said, well, I would rather take that risk, develop my people, and I'll just treat them good enough so they never have to leave you versus the other side of the coin. What if they actually stay with you, end up staying with you, and never really learned anything and how to survive, ever changing, fast paced industry? So, yes, I would say the focus really is on the training and really giving good benefits to our VAs because, yes, you can train them, but if you don't make them feel as if you really are equal, that they really deserve to also, dream or have a better quality of life, then that's when they really, really would say that's really the difference. And again, based on market research, we are one of the highest paying staffing agencies, but also at the same time, like charging our customers the lowest in the industry. So that's the difference.
This question is for Miss Rita. So let's proceed. So, Miss Rita, once a client sign up, so in case that the onboarding will happen already, so once the client sign up, what happened behind the scene?
Thank you, Clay. So once a client sign up or hire a VA with us, so our work is really just the beginning. So behind the scenes, our team is working on closely both the client and the VA, and we wanted to make sure that the transition is smooth as possible. Well, we help them set up the tools, the accounts. We coordinate with the onboarding. That's why we provide onboarding process. We make sure that the VAs has everything that they need to get started. And we also guide them through the client's workflow and also give them what client is expecting them to be. And so they know what they are doing, they know what they're facing. And at the same time, as the VA begins working, we stay actively involved. We identify any training gaps, and then after that we oversee areas for additional support, and that's where Miss Clarice always steps in. It's the training gaps that we always need, that our VAs need, and at the same time it's our role as the admins to create and do and make sure that we always have our standard operating procedures ready at hand. This helps the VA build their confidence as well while ensuring the consistency and accuracy of their work in helping the client with their agency workflow. Communication is also a very big of what we do because we regularly check in with our VAs, with the client. We ask for their feedback because sometimes, just like with our previous clients, our client, he always give us feedback of our VA, but he doesn't want us to say it directly to our VAs, but he's giving us an idea of what the VA needs to improve. So we pivot something or do a little bit of a training on how the VA can improve on those areas that the client mentioned. So yeah, and then everything follows.
For smaller teams, they don't always have HR. And is working directly with somebody who is outsourced, those sticky conversations can be very uncomfortable to have. Say, for example, sometimes the VA might want to ask for an increase, but cannot really approach the client because, Filipinos by nature, we are just not comfortable asserting ourselves. And then on the other side of the coin, for the agency owner or for the person hiring the VA, sometimes they do have feedback, but they are also very scared because, how this person will accept that feedback because, this person is trying so hard and yet it's not landing, it's not hitting, it's not, like a conversation needs to be had, but they're not sure how it's gonna be taken. So that's obviously that's a service that we give to our customers because we don't understand the cultural differences and nuances between US and the Philippines.
Yeah, well, regarding with that, being a part of the management, I believe that a lot of people think once the VA starts, that's the end of the process on our end. But that's actually when the real support begins because this is one of the service included on what they pay. So we're the one who manage the VA for them to more focus on doing the selling and also having the client relationship. So yeah, Miss Rita, we have a question here. Agency owners often think that they're only hiring one VA. What don't they see behind the scenes?
Where there's a lot of things happen that clients don't necessarily see. So our team helps with recruitment, onboarding, training, as well as account setup, documentation, like creating SOPs, quality checks, troubleshooting, attendance monitoring, like basically most of the admin tasks, HR stuff, where we did that. So if a VA encounters challenges, we or needs additional guidance, they don't have to figure it out alone. They can reach out to us. They can ask for our guidance. Then if that's why Miss Clarice is there as well because she can address all the training gaps and also the miscommunication, especially with the VAs and their clients. Then we can coach them. And also, likewise, if a client has a concern or wants to improve workflow, we are here to help them or implement solution. We always make sure that we let the client know that we know what we're doing and we are here to guide them and to make sure that everything will or the problems that they are encountering, we can help them solve it smoothly. So one thing I'm specifically proud of is that we work together with Miss Clarice, especially even if I know she's really busy, but she always makes time to help us, especially with the training. Even if she's sick, she always makes time to train us early in the morning, you know. So the dedication is there. So we have to, as admin as well, we have to deliver the same quality to the VAs. So, they're hiring one VA, but behind that VA is an entire team committed to helping them succeed. And we don't just place the VA and walk away. That's something that we want to let them know that we want to build long-term partnership, supporting VAs to have a stable and long-term employment as well.
It's always a trust based relationship, especially when we're outsourced. So I really, us, actually, not just me, you guys also, I see it. And I always, tell you guys, I chose you guys because I know you have integrity. It's very expensive, when you don't hide your operations, when, we make mistakes, we're, you know, not gonna lie and say and gaslight, our customers or our VAs. We own up to our mistakes. The most important thing is, just have integrity, be honest, own up to your mistakes, correct, adapt in this conversation, what our clients don't see.
Another question to Miss Clarice. What do you think why is ongoing support is so important?
So, because our products are people, there's no hiding behind it. We are a staffing agency, and us as humans, we are always evolving. You can't really expect, even the best performers, they have downtimes. And it's so important that during those downtimes, you step in and you help them. Whether an increase they need, or just a little bit more time with their family, or a little bit more explanation, navigating, what does the client need done. But then that's really where we come in. And I know that they say, we always have to, separate the personal and professional, but the reality is the personal affects the professional that we do here, really, in global remote. Yeah.
Oh, in management, we have a motto, Madam Clarice, when we are talking to VAs, like we don't just hire people, or like global remote don't just hire people. We actually take care of them, especially even they are well, or like we don't expect, or even the client don't expect that they are like pretty good at 10/10. They actually still need a support coming from us, from how they communicate with clients, like what you said earlier, Miss Rita and Miss Clarice. Like we
We're
serve as
learning
a
the
bridge.
platform, how to be a prompt
Yeah.
Yes,
engineer,
correct.
all these
Yes.
platforms
Yes.
that everyone else
Mhm.
in the industry is using. Well,
For them
those
to.
things we have to learn.
Correct.
That's actually awesome. Okay. Yeah. I love to ask both of you one final question. Because your both of you are the foundation of this global remote workers. So if an agency owner is watching this right now, again, I would like to reiterate myself. Insurance agency owner is watching this right now and is still unsure about hiring BA. Why would you tell them?
Give it a shot. I was a VA. Now I'm doing really well selling for a captive agency in Nevada. If somebody who was born in Santa Cruz, Laguna, went to public schools, I did go to good schools when I was in college. I went to a college and a university later on in life. If someone like me, if I knew how the US industry works, insurance industry works, had no idea how the US operates, then in my first year working with a captive agency, I was promoted to be customer service manager. And then now I'm the top salesperson, top producer for a 30-year-old agency here in Nevada. If I can do it, anyone with a proper training can do it. That's, like, all you gotta do is trust. And, our contracts are protected by both US laws and Philippine laws. All the contracts are enforceable. So there's really minimal risk for you. And we have one of the lowest pricing in the market out there. So I really don't know what else to tell you, but it's such a low risk investment. But, the payoff is good. So
Yes,
We would
correct.
like to have
In
your
addition
insight
to
as well,
that,
Miss Rita.
I'll have your insight
Go
too
on.
later. So
Okay.
I would say give us at least, if an insurance agency is watching this, give us at least 10 minutes of your time and you will not regret it. I've already spoke with like few agency owners back then. They one of the biggest challenge that I hear from them is that they do everything themselves. They do endorsements, answering phone calls, emails, and like most of the back end tasks. So just give us at least 10 minutes of your time and we'll make sure that it's worth of your time. Thank you, Clay. What
Our
about you, Clay? If
time.
an insurance agency is watching this right now, what will you say? Or what's
yeah,
your
we
message to
want to
them?
hear what you think.
What will be the message for them if they want to make their life easy and have more time with their family and especially their under business? Yeah, they can hire us. Not yeah, especially us, but like yeah, they can hire VAs to support their back end service. Well, that's the main purpose of our virtual assistant is to help them to have a free time with them, with their family, and also like what Miss Clarice said earlier, to focus on selling and having a client relationship. That's all
At
for
the end
me.
of the day, our goal is simple to help them lessen their back end task or managing their back end task and to help them grow and focus more on sales, help their agents grow more sales for their agency.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's all. Do you have anything to add, Miss Clarice, Miss Rita, for our next episode? They can, they might be curious right now what will be the next episode will be, but yeah, they have to be they have to wait for that episode. So for
What are your
all
burning
right.
questions? Yeah, they can
Yeah.
drop comments below.
Right.
Mhm.